What it do, y'all? So I had a couple people shoot me a message on YouTube asking me a little bit more about the Lockpick Air 2, kind of how I took apart the dash and installed it. The only reason that I'm taking it apart again is so that I can change the bypass setting, and I'll explain why I'm doing that a little later. But as you can see, I've already kind of started. Some of the videos show that you need to like remove this piece and remove this here, which we don't need to do that. That is the unit right there. You carefully take like a screwdriver or something else and carefully go around the edges, popping out the pins. This is durable, so it all kind of goes back. Just don't, do it too hard. Don't crack this piece, and you'll need to do a little force, but not too much force, because you don't want to damage that and crack it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this off. Like I said, you'll work your way all the way around it. Make sure that your steering wheel is locked all the way down so that you can get to this piece, kind of go all the way around it. Once I get it off, then we'll go to the next. All right, so now that I've pretty much got this detached, we'll just kind of, put it to the side, throw it in the back seat, and then we'll move on to the next phase. All right, so now that we have the plastic bezel piece off, as you can see here, where I actually put my Air 2 is right here in the corner. There is enough room for it to fit over there. Just be careful when you're putting it in. Obviously, you have the antenna and you have the wireless or USB key, which I actually ran that behind the unit, and I have you can see it right there. I have my USB there just for ease of access. So if there is an update and I need to do the update, I can just slide this piece out, pop it into my laptop, update it, slide that right back into place, and without removing the overall head unit piece here. So that's the reason that I did that. Like I said, the reason that I'm taking it apart again is so that I can pull this out, because what I'll be doing is changing one of the switches, which is the bypass switch. I think it's 5. I can't remember. I'll probably have to research it real quick. I'm going to change that back to non-bypass, and I'll kind of explain once I'm done. Once I figure out which switch it is, I'll explain why I'm doing that, and I'll let you know some of the advantages and disadvantages to the Air V2 on a 2016 Dodge Charger RT. All right, so I went ahead and put switch 5 back down. So that's the last switch. Put it down so that I wouldn't have to deal with. Let me show you real quick. Let me turn accessory on. So the override is what allows you to go up and down the road without having the keys disabled. So if the passenger wants to input an address, you basically got to pull over. So I didn't like that. So I went ahead and turned that off. The reason for that is because, let me turn that off. What I found out is when you're driving down the road, your navigation system does not seem to want to locate your vehicle, and your navigation basically acts like it's on crack. It's like 4 or 5 streets over, blocks over. It's fun when you're on the interstate and you can see your car going through some virtual houses and things like that. So that is one of the drawbacks to this version in this particular vehicle. It works flawlessly in my 2013 Dodge Durango with the Lockpick that I've purchased from them. Everything else works like it's supposed to. I can kind of deal with not using that feature as far as being able to type while I'm in motion, or when I do want to type, I can just simply hit the menu button here and navigate to turn it on so that I can type in the address or what have you, and then turn it back off once I put it in. So that is kind of a tedious step, but you know what, that's fine. That's not the real reason that I purchased it. I pretty much purchased it so that I can add the additional cameras and also to be able to stream if I so wanted to. And which that leads me to the next issue with streaming. And I've also looked on their website, Coastal Electronics, or whoever makes this. I went to the vendor site and it doesn't really explain this part right here. Some of the videos that I've seen are from older versions, I believe. So this doesn't quite work the same as they described, but it goes to something where if you're not using an Android or if you're not using an iPhone, it's defaulted to this by default, which is for an iOS, iPhone, iPad, any Apple device. And this would be for the Android version. So, you know, once you connect your phone to your Lockpick, which it gives you like an IP address and all that good stuff. Per the instructions, it says once you're in the air mode, by selecting this button here, push this air mode button here, which would make this thing restart. But as you can see, I get the could not find USB file or what have you. So I couldn't quite figure it out for the longest time, and then, you know, I just kind of started playing around with it. What I ended up doing was going on my phone, going to typing in this IP address in my address bar, or whatever yours may be, something totally different. And then it actually put me into like a different menu, which is kind of like a back end menu. And then I saw all of this other stuff, like you can use your phone as a remote and all this other jazzy stuff. So yeah, and it also has like download this application, which I end up downloading. And then I was actually able to play the videos, but there's nowhere in the documentation that explains that. So if you do have a Android device, Samsung or any other Android device, you're probably going to need to go download that software. And the only way to get it that I know of is to type in whatever your Lockpick Air V2 or V1, whatever that address is. You literally type that into your phone and click go. It'll put you into it. It'll tell you that it's connected to your Lockpick, whatever your version is. And then there's several menus, like a network menu, just to name a couple, settings menu. And like I said, there's one where you can download this application and install it onto your phone, which that's what I did. I'll throw at the end of this video a little picture of it and the name of it. That way you'll be able to find it. Again, so like I said, this is for a 2016 Dodge Charger RT. And this is the Lockpick Air V2. So it does work. I did try to update the firmware. The firmware seems to be updated. That's kind of one of the other things I didn't really like about the Lockpicks is it seems like they don't really keep their documentation updated. They don't tell you what, you know, every switch is, which, you know, I want to kind of know what they do. I assume if it's the same way as it is with the, you know, additional models, usually turning it up is for high-speed cam and low-speed bus, depending on what type of radio that you have or whatever. So if anybody else knows exactly what they are, please let me know. And like I said, the reason I'm doing this video is because I couldn't find any. All of this is through trial and error. I've seen a lot of people purchase these for like the 15s, but I couldn't find anything for the 16. So, you know, I went ahead and took the chance. I bought the V1 originally. That didn't work because of the connections were different. Then I went ahead and bought the V2, which did have the same connection. So like I said, it does work. I end up mounting my IR receiver for the remote. Probably can't see it, but I end up putting it right there and running, of course, the wire through there. So the range on this thing isn't that great as far as the remote. So that's kind of why I put it there, because typically when I'm driving, I'm using my left hand to do things anyway. So I usually just kind of like this right here and push it, or sometimes it'll work over here, but you know, I guess it just depends on how fast you push the button. I don't know. But yeah, so like I said, for the most part, it works as advertised. It does what it's supposed to do. There's just some convoluted ways about getting around certain things. One is the streaming part. So other than that, if you got any questions, comments, feel free to shoot me an email like before. Drop a like or comment in the comment section below. All right, later.